Hello, hello, hello. All right, welcome back. This is the 512 Squadron. We are looking at a awesome match today between Aaron and Patrick. I'm sitting in my little streaming setup right over here, just making sure I've got everything at the right level for myself. And okay. Yep. Okay, I think I'm ready to go. Sorry, just bumping the microphone around. So we've got Aaron versus Patrick. We've got a really interesting scum list from Aaron and a new one from Patrick featuring one of the brand new ships, which is the new Battle over Endor Wedge Antilles. So it looks like he's got Wedge, Corin, and an X-Wing. Lando Calrissian. Is this the new Lando? No, this is the old Lando. Yes, this is old Lando, and then old Tycho, not new Tycho, which is kind of interesting. I expect like the new 4-pointer, but just mixing it up a little bit. Which, you know what? This is cool. I like this. This is cool. And the scenario is scrambled transmission. So we've got a 4-ship list on the right-hand side and a 5-ship on the left-hand side, which is going to give them some advantages. Cool. Sorry, just checking in with some of the other folks who are local. So this is going to be interesting. We're going to be starting narrating this one start to finish, so we'll be able to have a full perspective on what their play is. So when they make these like absolutely glaring, terrible mistakes, we'll be able to record it for all time. But okay, this is going to be kind of interesting. First, the all-important turn 0. We've got 2 Hans on the table. Aaron's equipped with Trick Shot, so he's definitely going to be wanting to get those obstructive shots off, and so we're seeing some big rocks. Same thing on the other side with the other Han. The big shots let rocks make it easier for him to snug up next to those asteroids and get those rerolls off. In terms of synergies, we've got Tycho, who's going to be whizzing around. Tycho with Mag Pulse, which is going to be really cool for putting crits in, and for doing debuffs. We have Corin with cluster missiles. Cluster missiles able to hit multiple targets at a range 1 of each other, which is an interesting opportunity presented by Aaron's side, because Aaron's got swarm tactics, which immediately lets you know that, hey, I'm going to be having some ships close to each other, which is going to be a juicy target for Corin Horn. We also have Lando, who's going to be doing coordinating basically with his ability. He's got Bistan, who can let him double tap with Perceptive Copilot, having double focuses. So not as... Oh, no, he's not Han. Yeah, so he's not as... powerful as Han, so he doesn't have the free rerolls, but this window can definitely still double tap. And we have the new Battle over Endor Wedge Antilles. Wedge has it's a trap ability, so if he's got a friend nearby, he gets a free reroll. He's got an extra shield upgrade. He's got advanced proton torpedoes, and he has the ability where after he hits an attack that hits, he gets a focus token. So Wedge can have a ton of focus tokens. After an attack, he can end with 2 of them, which can be pretty devastating. It can be pretty hard to take him off the board. However, we've got some good pieces for doing that on the left-hand side. We've got Han Solo and Dengar both at 6, who can go toe-to-toe with Wedge's I-6 as well. We've got Seavor, who's going to be doing some stupid jams, which I think is really going to throw things for a loop, especially because we have Tycho and Corin on the opposite side with munitions. Also Wedge with munitions too. And if Seavor's able to get up in there and assign some jams to them at a higher initiative, he's going to be able to turn those munitions off. So he might get up close, he might get wasted really fast, but if he's able to use that ability to get some of those missiles jammed off, he could easily be worth his value. And then speaking of value, on the left-hand side, we also have Bosk and the tiny little Z95. Bosk is just going to be whizzing around, trying to do his crit splitting thing, and, he's only worth a handful of points, only worth 2, so if he can get a couple objective points, he's easily going to be worth it. This is Scramble, so they're going to be setting themselves up to push those buttons and defend those. Now, speaking of defending, looking around to see how they're setting these up. Aaron's going to start with the 4 and 3 with Seavor and Bosk. Seaver, of course, with the Mining Guild tie, no one expects going to be able to just blaze right through obstacles. Lima in the middle, the surprisingly high initiative Y-Wing with plasma torpedoes. And I say plasma torpedoes with that like fun phrase because on the other side of the board, we have Patrick. All of his ships have juicy shields. So that plasma torpedo is just going to be able to put some, strip some shields off whatever it hits, which is kind of cool because canonically, with shields being driven by graviton emitters that are able to like warp energy fields around them, something about the way that like coherent bolts of plasma interact with those gravity fields like overloads like the generator somehow. I don't remember exactly the pseudoscience behind it, but it was really cool to learn about. So I'm kind of psyched at the way plasma torpedoes work. Anyways, speaking of getting psyched, always excited to see a YT on the board. It looks like we're dropping the YT down. And in case you're wondering, hey, is this a little bit early? No, because remember, this is not Han, so he is an I-5 Orlando. And so we have a 3-5 and a 6 versus a 6-6-5, 3-4. But with a swarm tactics, right? Am I right? Yeah, then you're swarm tactics. So we've got 3 6s and then possibly a 5-4. So we have a really interesting matchup firepower-wise. I'm trying to see what Patrick does, whether he starts these off as a cluster or separate, because Corin can do things with passing friends locks off, but not a ton of synergy between ships here. So it's going to be interesting because Aaron definitely has a few ships that do like being together with that swarm tactics. And Patrick, I don't know if he does. Orlando is definitely going to be trying to coordinate or just like taking double tokens himself. But I'm really curious to see the pattern here. And especially, speaking of patterns, one of the things I love about the way... sorry, yawn. One of the things I love about the way that Aaron sets up these ships is how Han gets set up as an angle, never something consistent. And you might think, oh my gosh, this is like, inconsistent play. How are you going to develop like a pattern to this? You'd have to do this every single time in order to get used to it. Hey, fun fact, Aaron does this literally every single time. That Han is always at a different angle. So in terms of like drilling the spatial reasoning, it's second nation him there. And it's also a really nice advantage over an opponent who's maybe trying to calculate angles and figure out, hey, is this ship an arc? Is this ship not an arc? Well, since that Han's bow tie side arc is never really where you expect, it's never in the traditional like orthogonal orientation with the board, it is really squirrel, really hard to pin down. And with Han having so many other tricks with him, that trick shot, the penalty for a ship that's stressed, it is really, really hard for an opponent to constantly have all those different variables in their mind. So obviously the goal here isn't to do anything like illegal, but one of the tough parts about this is like forcing your opponent to make bad decisions. And when you're coming up against this list from Aaron, you have so many chances to miss a trigger or make a bad decision that over the course of a long game, it is absolutely going to wear on you. And I'm really curious to see where this is right now. So we're on to turn 1, and I'm going to be updating our overlay. Let's get to the game timer. Here we go. We've got all ships set up. I'm trying to figure out what we would do here. So getting back to our game, this is awesome. I'm sitting right next to them, so I can kind of try to, here, let me scoot over just one last little bit, so I can try to figure out what I would do if I were in their situation. So Aaron's Han, we know he's going to want to do trick shots, so he's going to orbit. We know that Han is probably can toe-to-toe with Wedge. Wedge has got an advanced torpedo, so Wedge is going to try to run in close. Han does not mind the obstacles, just going to be looping around them. He's got Bosk off in the corner. Maybe Bosk is going to try and dangle himself as bait for Wedge, because so that's Wedge on the top side. Because if he goes after Bosk, that could easily be a trap. Like, Bosk is just not worth a ton of points. But the scary part is Bosk, if he gets up and close, he's going to be like throwing some damage with marksmanship and being able to split crits out. So if we flip it to the left-hand side, so what's Patrick going to do? So we have Lando. Lando's got a great lineup right against Dengar. The scary part is Dengar can really throw some pain into that Lando. So the real question is whether he's going to be able to, successfully joust that Dengar, that Punisher 1 title, or whether he's going to say, nope, I don't want to, I'm going to stick with the rest of my list. Because Aaron does have a jousting block set up. That Y-Wing and Dengar can start really slamming down pain into Patrick. And so by lining him up the way he is, it's really interesting to see whether Patrick is going to elect for the joust and try to jump on in, or whether he's going to curve off to the right. If he curves off to the right, that's tough because he's going to be leaving that obstacle completely open. It's just a really tough decision. Is he going to try to loop forward and try to claim it, or is he going to go right and just say, hey, I abandoned this, I'm going to stick with my friends? If he does, the rock placement in the middle of the mat is amazing, because if Patrick's able to turn to the right, or if he's forced to turn to the right, it really is going to make it hard for him to turn up north and continue to fight, because he's going to have to somehow curl through the rocks, and this Lando is not a Han. He doesn't have a ton of intrinsic benefits towards being behind the rocks. He doesn't have trick shot? No, yeah. Oh, this turn one's going to be huge. We're going to basically, I'm really curious to see what Lando does. If he goes straight, whether he goes right. Han, I'm pretty sure. Bosk, I'm guessing maybe like if it was me, I'd do like a 3-bank row, try to like establish that flanking position. Lima and Sivor probably going to go straight, make that firm block against Dengar. So the real question is how fast he's going to go, and whether Aaron's going to try to rocket ahead really quickly. Because speaking of munitions, just like looking on the left-hand side, we've got... Yeah, so we've got Lima with that plasma torpedo so that she can just slam on out at long range into Lando and start whittling through those shields. So we'll see. Oh gosh, this is so clutch. But things we're not going to know this first, because we're going to roll for initiative, and first we're going to see Sivor and initiative roll. So initiative goes to Aaron. Oh, I have a timer going, so we're pretty good. Fight. There's your shield tokens right there. Oh, he's going for it. Sorry, this is the part I was excited about. So yeah, so we have Sivor just blazing on forward. Again, not very expensive, so if he draws fire, those are shots that are not going to go into the other ships. And remember, he's got that silly jam ability. So he's going to be a little bit threatening if he's able to get in and start taking away. Yep, Bosk doing the 3... is Bosk at an angle? Oh, come on, that's what we're talking about. Give me this pure chaos. Chaos for the Chaos God. So we have Lima also going ahead. So, yeah, so if Lando goes straight... In case you're wondering why taking the lock on the rock, this is because there is that mag pulse missile on Arvel, and especially knowing that there's a chance that, looking at lose conditions, Patrick does not want to take a bunch of big... Oh! Okay, so he's doing it. He's choosing to opt in. So he's getting past that rock, and that's really telling for us, because that basically tells us that next turn he's going to have to do like a 1-bang to the right if he wants to try to collect with the rest of his ships. That does make me think that maybe the other ships are curving in left too, because I don't think they want to leave Lando hung out to dry, or even if they weren't, the next turn they're going to have to, because they're going to recognize that Dengar is going to just be gunning for him, because Lando does not want to joust those ships by himself. He wants the other higher initiative ones to start picking off some of Dengar's escorts, so that he only has to do like, one-on-one with it. Yep, so he's going to double focus. He's got his arc sideways, which is kind of tough. He wants to be able to shoot forward, but likely he's not going to be able to. Likely he's just going to... Okay, so what he's thinking is whether he's going to go for maybe a focus. It's going to be really interesting. So we'll see. So that was 1-5. Then we've got the other 5s. So what are you going to do, Corrin? Is Corrin doing a 3-bank left? No, he's not. Wow, Lando really is hanging out there by himself. So this is clutch. So Corrin's going off to the right. There's a chance maybe he'll... so he's maybe trying to go for that objective, trying to see, hey, I can go hard right, I can like loop up. He sees Han coming for him. Maybe they're saying, hey, us 3 can shoot Han. I mean, to be fair, if they are able to take Han off the table, that'd be a massive blow to Aaron. And Aaron does have slightly to worry about those 3 ships coming after him, because, they can put some hurt out, but he's got some good escorts. Even though the Y-Wing is kind of slow, it's still a tie, so the tie can go quick. And then, again, Dengar punishing one can be the hammer on the other side of the Han anvil. I just got squishy some ships too. Oh, yeah, my gosh, they are curling to the right.
just use the people. Oh no, here, it's right here, it's right here.
Oh, sorry. We're also using the S-Foils token on it because he has to make sure that, he leaves them open or closed, just the right way. So we'll see what he's got. Oh, this is going to be so clutch. And yeah, the real question is, so Dengar is Dengar going to line up next to Seavor, or is he going to go faster? Now, if it was up to me, I might think he's trying to go level with him, just so that he's like, hey, if we're in arc, we're in arc. Maybe he doesn't want to be all the way out there. Or he could be taking the thought of, hey, I want to go nice and quick so that I can start moving around the board. Because Dengar really doesn't want to go through the rocks too much. So he probably doesn't want to go too fast because he's going to want to be able to bank in to like move through the middle, or basically just to make sure he does not have to try to navigate through this tiny little rocks. So Han, here we go, going nice and slow. Takes the double focus. Han's like, hey, that's really smart. I'm gonna let you set your host up, and then yep, okay. So if you look at the front of Aaron's list, he's got that little diagonal line, so he's trying to establish that little net to catch any ship that's moving in, because he knows that because of where the rocks are, that Lando is almost certainly going to be doing like a 1 bank or a 2 bank next turn. He's kind of forced to come in, and so I would be surprised if I see all the ships from Aaron's maybe just do like 2 straights, and I would say 1 straight, but that TIE can't really do a 2 straight, like it's a TIE fighter, so it can maybe do a 1 hard. Now it could run out and just try to do a bump, which would be interesting. But the thing is, that doesn't really hurt Lando too much, because with Perceptive Co-Pilot, he still gets double focuses either way. But okay, so we're on to our second round now. I think. Oh, no, what am I thinking? No, we just had Wedge move at the very top, and now we get our first round of shooting. We'll see. No, okay, so just barely out. But yeah, this sets up a really, really, really interesting next turn, because that TIE cannot go slow. So what I'm curious at is whether Dengar continues to go forward, or whether we see like a 1 bank from him. And same thing with the Y-Wing, because the Y-Wing doesn't want to, it's kind of in the middle, so everyone else is going to be turning around it. So if I was the Y-Wing, I wouldn't want to be stuck in the middle, but I mean, the thing is, if you do a 1 bank or a 2 bank, you do set yourself up really nicely to put a plasma torpedo into Wedge or Corrin or Tycho. I love the little rogue squadron going on the right hand side, by the way. Tycho, Wedge, and Corrin. Like, that's chef's kiss. Perfect. Okay. So the real thing is, what is Seavor going to do? Is he going to go right in and try to jam, or is he going to try to curl himself in and put guns in the middle? Or are they all just going to focus down on Lando? Because Lando has a bow tie arc sideways. So if Lando's going to shoot, he's going to either have to do a hard or a bank this turn. So interestingly enough, if Lima goes straight, or banks right, or if Seavor goes straight, there's a chance that with a good block, he could keep Lando from even getting a chance to curve that arc at all. Or Lando might not even be able to move it to shoot anybody, or just be an ungodly block. So again, maybe it's not the ideal play, but I'd be really curious to see, like, in some universe, the 5 straight from Seavor. But yeah, we'll see. We very clearly have a rebel block on the right-hand side, which is really going to benefit that Wedge, because Wedge has the it's a trap ship ability, which basically means if he's got more ships at range 0 to 1 of him than enemy ships, he gets a free blank reroll. That definitely does disincentivize Wedge as the target of shots. Now, Wedge is the only I-6, so that also paints a bullseye on his head. So some interesting target selection priority for Aaron. In any case, it's on to round 2, so I'm going to go ahead and switch to B round 2 right now. Let me go ahead and do that using the overlay. Give me 1 second, everybody. Okay, here we go. Oh, this will be good. So, I'm trying to think, what would I do if it was up to me? So, Bosk is going to want to take that action. So, he's going to want to not leave range 1. Is he going to just do a 1 straight, or maybe a... But the thing is, Bosk also doesn't want to get hung out to dry. And Han's the one who's really going to be putting shots. So is Han maybe going to do a 3, just so we can start getting his guns in, and then is Boss going to go in for the jam? like they're just trying to jam people up. That would be crazy. Or is Boss going to sit there and try to capture? And then what do we have on the right-hand side? I'm pretty positive on the right-hand side we have a little ball that's going to try to like close down on Lando. Lando is in a bit of a precarious spot. Because you could definitely see a ton of shots laid into him. Lima, unfortunately, is at 5, so Dengar is going to shoot first. You'd love if Lima could get her plasma torpedo off first, so that she gets the strip shields and everything first. What I'm guessing at basically is the combination of Dengar and Lima shooting should be able to tear down those shields from Lando. Ooh, this is going to be tense. Okay, here we go. Also, that beautiful tie. One thing that we all need to remember is that tie is not, have no fear of obstacles. That tie can absolutely just decide to say, yo, and just roll right through them because it's a mine and guild tie. And it turns out if you take away one of the solar panel wings, you can just phase through rocks. But, okay, here it goes. Initiative roll. So goes to Patrick, which means that here we go. And Seavor is at 6. So what are we gonna do? Are we gonna see a short one or a big one? What are you doing, Seavor? Okay. So maybe are they abandoning Lando? Because Lando can do a double tap. Oh, gets a lock onto Cora. Oh boy. So we have him going in. I would have thought he would go into Lando, but maybe that's just what Dengar is going to do. The real thing is he going to, who's going to get that button? Is it going to be Lando? Is it going to be Dengar? Okay, so he's scrambling. So we have 1 point going to Aaron at the end of this. Okay. Also, such a cool little dice box. I love that little white one. I personally have a dice tray, which I think is really nice, but unfortunately the dice tray takes up so much table real estate. And that nice little white dice tower is just, so cool. I mean, he's had that for ages. Been, like, worn down a little bit, but, hey, still rolling those crits. But, okay, so what are we going to do? Ooh, what do we have here? And again, this is what we were thinking about. Okay, so Lando, remember we expected a bank because Lando does have the bow tie side arc. And remember what we said? If he's able to get in front, he's safe. And because the bow tie arc is side by side. Oh, wow. Okay, so he's foregoing his action. And then, because of Lando's ability, he can say, after I take an action, I'll Lando myself the double focuses. So, Lando gets triple actions on this turn, which, is kind of cool. But it does mean that he doesn't get double focus. And it does mean that the most fragile piece, Seavor, the little 3 health one, does not get shot by Lando at point blank range. Dengar can absolutely absorb a shot from Lando. As can the Y-Wing. Like, the Y-Wing and Seavor would be a little bit worried about getting double tapped, getting chewed into. But no, they're in great shape. So, this is cool. I think this, it really depends on what Dengar does. Is Dengar going to do a 1 bank? So we have Tycho Rocket forward. We have Bosk, who's ready to say, hey, come at me, witness me. I think they are at range 1, so we're going to see some interesting engage between the 2 of those ships right there. And then, of course, we got the 2 X-Wings coming up behind. With those classic S-foils split open, just looking so sick. I just wish they had a little bit of engine glow. The old models never really went in for the engine glow. It's only something we see on the newer ones. But anyways, I digress. So Patrick's in a really enviable position. I'm trying to figure out, okay, I think I'm seeing Aaron's list start to curl in on the middle to set up a little kill box for me. They do have munitions, so that plasma torpedo can wing out of nowhere and hurt me. What do I really want to do? Do I want a barrel roll? He's making sure that, like, hey, this is a casual game here with all of our friends. Do I want to take my time? Tycho's electing to barrel roll because he does not want to be on that range 1 of Bosk and have Bosk start throwing crits into him. Because remember, if he's able to get 1 crit past, he splits it to half points Tycho instantly. Now, there aren't any half points in this engagement mode, but it still would be tough to lose half an A-wing that quickly. So we'll see where he keeps going. Again, since the initiative went to Patrick this turn, we're going to be seeing it after Tycho moves, one X-Wing move as well, and then it'll go over to the other side of the table, and then we'll have a wedge going. So what do we have? And again, this is one of the awesome things about Aaron's list and that Han. He's got so many tricks, so many capabilities, the ability to hurt ships that are stressed, the ability to do trick shot, he's got a boost on that big base ship, just so many things for the opponent to keep track of, and it's going to be curious to see if he's able to catch Patrick on any of these. But speaking of catching him, yeah, so we still have on the opposite side. Oh, okay, what do we have? What do we got? What do we got? Oh, sorry, just got a note. Oh, was that someone on Twitch saying hi to us? No. Oh, well. Let's see. Nope. And a work email. I love my job. Work's so much fun, but yeah, sorry, not right now at the evening time. We're focusing on some amazing 512 Squadron X-Wing. Okay, getting back to the game. We're having plenty of time to reason it out, make sure you go through your entire decision tree, don't think any triggers, especially what I respect about Patrick is that this new list does feature, it does feature a brand new, ship with the wedge, so he's got some new triggers that we have literally never seen on the board ever again in our lives, so absolutely makes sense that he would want to take some time. There we go. Tries to reach out for a lock with the R3 Astromech. Dum-ba-dum-ba-dum. So reaches out for Han, which, okay. So he's setting up for the missile shot to Han. What's Lima going to do? Is Lima also coming on in? Yep, we've got the formation, and of course we have, what this also means, this means that we've got the swarm tactics, because remember, Lima's got swarm, so that means Seavor is actually going to be shooting at 5. Okay, now we have been thinking, is anyone going to come for me? Yep. That is exactly what I've done doing that scramble, because that is a Y-wing bomber. It's got a huge amount of shields and hull, relatively speaking. That wedge can definitely shoot him, but that wedge only has the advanced proton torpedo, not the long one. So even though he put a lot of damage when he gets up close, if he gets up close, he's going to be afraid of that C4 jam and that Y-wing plasma torpedo. So I think it was safe to say that wedge was not going to come joust in on them, and then yep, he's just sticking in the block, trying to stay with his friends. We're trying to figure out what kind of action he gets here. He knows that if he hits with an attack, he can get a focus. Is he going to go aggro? Oh, sorry. Is he going to go aggro and reach for a lock? What are we looking at right here? Yeah, what is that wedge? And then, when this is done, because of the initiative order, we also have the 2 I-6 ships on the opposite side too. And then, ladies and gentlemen, this is also our first scoring turn. Our previous one, is the very first round. It's very unlikely that you have ships shoot the first round. It is possible for maybe some silencers or whispers to do that boost sensor scramble or decloak and get it on range 1, but normally pretty unusual. And so now this is going to be yep. And we say, okay. So this is interesting because even though this temporarily doesn't bode well for Lando, the other thing about this is that this sets him up for a beautiful double tap. Because remember, Dengar's got that double tap. If he gets shot, he can lay back into Lando. So even though he's got 2 4-dice attacks, and he's gonna scramble. Now, the question about he doesn't have mods because he's going to be at range 1 and he's got 2 attacks. As a surprising amount of Oh, and so let's see. He's behind. Does a double focus.
All right.
Now, what are we gonna do?
Do you have any triggers? I don't think so. Everything's pretty straight.
Okay, so we're doing a quick.
Swarm tactics.
So now Seavor is also at 6. And now we're gonna see what else goes on. What are you doing? Is Seavor getting a chance? Yeah, so that makes a lot of sense. Take the Dengar shot. So Dengar rocking 4 dice. Just 1 crit. want to start.
One shot too, so there's no sense in keep it.
So spends one of his focus tokens.
Did you say Han can't engage?
I think
That's something.
yeah. It was just. Do I want to shoot Seaboard first?
Yeah, so because he has Swarm Tactics, Seavor, that middle tie in the middle.
Sold one, so not necessarily.
The real question is, what is he going to be doing?
How can you tell?
Stress there. I think Han's only got the one shot.
Yeah. So the question is
Still shooting. You don't have any. You just have the lock.
Really?
Also, it's not expected.
Yeah.
Just range 2. Yeah, I nudged it already, but I felt it both of them. So let's say it's range 2 and not obstructed. So I'm rolling 2 dice.
We've got range 2 versus range 2. So 2 hits coming out of Han. Oh, so we have both shields, unfortunately. And then we also still got a Bosk shot coming in too, which is going to have a chance. Seavor. Now,
We'll go ahead and do the comp.
Seavor. It's like, watch out, everybody. Oh, we have an instruction check.
No, this here.
So, alright, breaking the laser. So the real thing is, what is he going to, because remember, he's got that jam ability, and because he can do that jam at I6, he has a chance to take a lock off. He's trying to figure out what kind of lock am I going to do. Now, does he want to protect that Han from all of those shots, or does he want to protect that little Bosk? Because that little Bosk can just get erased, and he's just basically saying, nope, I'm going to change your decision tree for you, I'm going to fly. Wings out the concussion missile, spends the lock because unfortunately it rolls blanks, and let's hopefully roll a little bit better. Rolls 2, no mods, so has to get for natties, and natty's out of it. So unfortunately, a good bit of luck there. Now we have Wedge getting a chance to reach out and see. So Wedge is going to reach out. Again, this is the new Wedge, and if he hits this attack for 3, Boss definitely guaranteed to take 1. So 1 shield. Sorry, is this the new Wedge?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, Aaron. Just trying to help out for re-listen.
Oh, he gets a focus.
Yeah.
He did hit.
Yeah.
Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah. The only reason I'm bringing this up, everyone, the only reason I chimed in is because this is literally a brand new card that, like, no one here has.
It's not a May.
Yeah. So basically, he has to receive that focus. So now we have more shots coming in. So here we go. So we got 2 more hits coming into Corrin. Now what are we going to do? And this is Corrin without force. And so Corrin takes a crit. And what are we going to get? Into the juices?
Weapons failure.
And it's a weapons failure. So
Fair and balanced.
And that's just Bob. Okay. Lena's only got 1 shot. Are you gonna take it?
So we've got that weapons failure on Corrin, which is really tough. He really wanted him to do a lot of damage to Bosk, but nope. So that's everyone. That's all 5 shots from Aaron's. Now we're gonna come down and see. Okay, so we've got 4, but the thing is, that's a big ship in Dengar, and Dengar can weather a little bit. So when Dengar takes 3 shields.
Alright, I'm gonna shoot you back.
And Dengar shoots back, and oh my goodness, rolls a huge ton of paint. Is able to ping 2 shields back off Lando.
3 for 2.
part here is also looking at the objectives, because we have, just to let everyone know, I haven't scored this yet, but Aaron has scored every single objective point. So on one hand, we're looking at the damage race, but on the other hand, this is going to be a 3-0 turn for Aaron, which is clutch. So now we're trying to figure out what's going on with the rest of this, because we had Wedge, now we've got Tycho and Corin. So he's shooting 2 dice into Han. And the question is whether he's going to reroll or not. Because he got hit and focus. So the question is, what is he going to do? If he spends the lock, it's a 50-50 chance that he gets a hit. And this is a cluster. This is the cluster, so he can use this again. So he's going to get 2 shots off, but they are going to be very weak shots. And that Han does have double focuses, so Han's really not worried. And that's tough because it's only a 50-50 chance. Yeah, unfortunately that might not have been, and Han spends the focus. So basically this is him shooting a single 2-die attack and nothing. So that weapon's failure really brutal against him. Let's see what Tycho's got. Does Tycho have the bullseye to be able to launch that rocket? So he just has his range 2. And Tycho gets nothing. So Tycho checking to see what he's got against Corin. Yeah, so no bullseye there. The real thing is what is he going to do? So we've got range 2, no other mods. He was checking for marksmanship to see if he can do his fine ability. And he just only gets 1 crit, and we're going against 2 dice. The odds are not. It gets another, so puts 2 damage, and that's that amazing ability from Boss being able to split those crits in. So we get that 1 damage comes into 2. So he fortunately doesn't take a crit, but gets down 2 damage.
Okay, so I guess 3.
So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're up to. We're up to 3 points solid for Aaron, and he's in a really good spot because that scenario on the left-hand side, or the bottom side of the board, we're probably going to see Lando try to move away from it, also because he's kind of losing the damage race. He's almost lost Corin already. We're probably going to see him trying to be offensive, so we're basically guaranteed that Aaron's got 1. He just needs to maintain possession of 1 additional objective, and he's got Seavor, who's in a great position to do that. Now the real question is, how are these ships going to be moving? Are we going to be seeing the Y-Wing do a 1 hard or a bang to try to make sure it doesn't rock itself? Is Seavor just going to... no, Seavor's in a tough spot because he can't bank. He can maybe do a 2 straight because he's at a lower initiative. So this is the tough part about playing the mixed initiative squad. Is he going to be doing a 2 hard? Is he going to take the damage? Actually, I think it'd be so cool if he took the 2, or maybe to save a 3 hard. A 3 hard would be interesting. But yeah, maybe he just does the 2. It says, hey, I'm just going to do it. I'll do the 2, and I'll take a lock, and he'll use that lock to maybe do his jam ability again. And then he's still got that plasma torpedo coming from Lima, and he's still got Dengar, who can start chewing into Lando, because Dengar did take a little bit of hurt, but not. But Lando wasn't able to do that double tap because he only had 1 ship in arc. It's going to be really interesting to see if Lando's able to get that double arc going off again, because a lot of points were sunk into Lando for that coordinate and that double tap ability, but so far it's only been able to do that 1 single attack that 1 time. We have this from Patrick's point of view. We've got Corin, who's really hurting. He might think, okay, Aaron's going to try to collapse on Corin, take those juicy 5 points off the board, take that 3-die gun off the board, and leave me with just an A, an X, and a Falcon, which would be very, very tough. I mean, not insurmountable. It would be a bit of an uphill battle, especially because Aaron's ships are all fairly healthy at this point. So if you're Patrick, what do you want to do with that Corin? And if you're Aaron, we want to say, hey, my quickest route to 5 points is taking that Corin off the board. Is the Corin going to go left? Probably not, because because he's injured and he doesn't want to die. He's going to say, hey, I'm going to go off to the right-hand side. I'm going to try to run, get behind Han, in which case Lima might say, hey, I'm going to do that one bank. I'm going to do a one hard, just make sure that I can try to escape. The real question is, what are we going to be seeing with S-foils? We're going to be seeing those S-foils be closed so that he can maybe do a boost. I'm not sure because Corn has an offensive ability. Oh, this is really cool. Sorry, I'm really thirsty listening to this, so I know I'd love to fill some air, but I know just be coming real quickly, grabbing a Topo Chico, and then coming on back because this is an amazing turn. This is really, really clutch, and we're really going to see this is going to be a massive swing after this turn. Again, Dengar's really key here. If Patrick abandons this objective, then it's going to be 1 point. If he goes back and tries to take it with that Lando action, Dengar can just take it right back. And then Dengar can say, hey, you know what, go ahead, shoot me. You only have your one attack now because you don't have the double Bistan focus. Well, actually, he will because Lando's got that really cool triple action ability, which, okay, I totally take back. Yeah, that Lando in scenario is going to be really, really good. But, okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go up and get myself a quick Topo Chico trademark, and I'm going to be right on back to keep giving you this juicy, juicy X-Wing. Now that we are on, I need to update. Now that we are on turn 3, so going to update. They also don't know that there are only 38 minutes left, so we are going to be trying to treat this one as a real game and doing the countdown. So, Bosk. Is Bosk going to try to cut off Corrin? I'd love to see that. Bosk just go in there, jam, maybe just do a 1 straight. And then Han can do a 2 straight and try to cut off that arc. Yeah. And then we see the ships on the left curl in. Lando. I really don't know what Lando's going to be. But okay, we'll see. I'm going to update the turn counter really fast. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be right back. I just need to get a Topo Chico.
That's fair, yeah. One of those. Yeah. These guys don't exactly.
Sorry, and we have the amazing Tribe Comics and Games giving us an amazing location to play. Sorry, I just keep saying amazing because so thankful for having this shop in my life and all of our lives here to give us a great spot to play X-Wing on. To meet up with all our folks. We've got X-Wing going on this table. We've got 40K. We've got Kill Team. We've got I don't even know what's going on over a table. We've got some tacos. We've got soda. I've got this delicious Topo Chico. Man, what a good night. Thank you, Tribe Comics and Games. Oh, and he's doing it. Okay, so he's rocketing forward. He's going to be going around those rocks next time. And you might say, oh no, he's going to be in trouble. Remember, he ignores rocks when he moves. So I don't know if people are expecting the 3 bank through the rock, but he can absolutely do that without any fear. Bosk, what are you going to do? Are you going to try to jam people up, Bosk? What you going to do? And also, in case the reason why you didn't see Seavor curl in, one of the reasons for that was because he's moving at a lower initiative, so he can't hit Lima. And yep, Bosk is saying, hey, I'm trying to jam you up. Now, I don't know if that's really going to work because I don't think Corrin's going to go slow. I think Corrin, knowing that he's hurt, might try to go quick. But we'll see. Real question is, does Lima rock herself? And I think Lima should be fine. Just a real question about whether Lima rocks herself, but she's... You started That's definitely not the rock. Now, Lima is not... Oh, this is interesting. Lima is just choosing to focus and not take a walk. Now, I think Lima might already have a... Oh, sorry. Lima is not taking a walk. Now, Lima can get a walk later, which would be... Oh! Okay, so we've got Lando going forward. And, okay, this is an interesting move. I was not thinking about this one. This one lets Lando actually start using those double tapping maneuvers. It does mean, exactly what we were saying earlier, that because of where he's positioned, Lando is basically abandoning that bottom left objective, which is really tough game-wise, because he's just going to continuously, over and over again, start scoring that point, and he's already 3 up and possibly going to go up another from Corrin. Now, here's Corrin. Again, I was saying that he might be going fast. So what is Corrin doing? 3 bank, yeah. So yeah, so the Bosk block. I don't know if that was really... So he goes quick. Now Lima, I think, still has him, and Lima, unfortunately, does not have the lock. Now, lock yet, because if Lima's able to get those plasma torpedoes off later... Yeah, if Lima gets those... Because Lima is not... Oh, and he flipped a box. Okay. Because he has to flip the box. So now we've got another 2 points going back to Patrick. Oh, now remember, Tycho's swooping is going to give him a stress. And a stress is going to help out Han. So, really...
Because of his super Tycho powers, he can still take actions.
So Tycho swoops and trying to set up a little kill box on Bosk. That does mean that Lima does have... Oh, sorry, I'm going to double check Lima's ability really quick. Sorry, let me bring up Lima. And sorry, we were just doing with Lima is double checking Lima's ability because we're trying to figure out whether Lima can get off her target lock. But no, she is in Tycho's arc. So does Tycho have cannons or?
And Magpul's warheads.
No, does he have vectored cannons or normal?
Yes.
Okay. Now, so
Just to briefly discuss theory, so Lando can coordinate anybody into an action linked to a red action, and then they all can do a blue maneuver after.
mm-hmm.
No, they're way past that.
Yep, and so we have Han go forward.
To really leverage
If Han,
And then,
so Han gets a range 0 against that X-Wing, which is not what Aaron wanted, because he definitely wanted to have a 3-die attack on it. And now he only has that B-Wing. And so the B-Wing versus Corrin is going to be tough. Now Corrin does get to shoot, so we've got a lot of guns on Han. Actually, all of them. Which is going to be tough. So we'll see how this pans out. We could have a lot of damage done into Han this turn. However, we are almost assuredly going to lose Corrin. So the real question is, what's the turn order, or like what's the shot selection, and what's the gameplay this particular turn in order to make sure that Han takes the least amount of damage and then he guarantees a kill shot. So start of engagement and remembering their triggers.
don't think it makes sense.
everything only has the 0 again.
So take our range 0s. So takes 2. And then we've got Lando only with 1 mod. Gets 1. What are we gonna do here? So Han trying to face. So Han doesn't really have any good obstructed shots. Real question about who Han's gonna shoot. Yeah, the question is, does he kill Corrin? Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to mod that. So it's only going to be 2 native dice versus 2. So 2v2. His odds are that he'd kill Corrin slightly more effectively. Interesting. So he's going to try to split that. So 3. Yeah. Then what do we have from Wedge? Yeah. And so Wedge loses both sheep and forces that token strip. So one of the things that he definitely did not want to have happen this turn was to have a ton of damage done into Han, and that is totally fine for him right now because he says, "Hey, no, you're totally good. I'm fine." Because now he only has that focus token, and he's just got a normal. So here he goes. So yeah, I'm really liking how this turned out so far. He doesn't have any mods. Oh, if only he had that focus, and that's why that focus. Good heavens, that is so brutal. So now the 2-6, and so now we've got the 5, because the initiative goes back to Aaron. Yep, so we've got Lima with that dorsal. So Lima does Lima shoot Corin?
They're both 2 points.
So we do, so the question is, same amount. So we'll do the primary into, and he gets it. Oh, okay. So we've just got 2 dice. He needs Nat. Yep, and that's it, unfortunately. So he gets to engage, but unfortunately we have Corin taken off. And then we've got Corin up next.
He's only got 1 shot.
So Corin's got 1 shot into Han with a weapons failure.
And your weapons failure.
And so we've still got some tokens on Han. Han should be okay. So Han spends to live. Here we go. So we've got 3 guns left. We've got Tycho blazing away into Bosk. What you gonna do, Bosk? Ooh, there you go. So we've got 4 hits coming into Bosk. What you gonna do, Bosk? Bosk does have that focus token for survival and has to spend to be down to 1. We've got over here. Now we just have Dengar, and then we also have Seabor. So the real question going through Patrick's head, because he knows he can get a revenge shot coming in. He's like, oh, do I take it? Do I not? What am I going to do? And okay, so he spends one of his focuses for 3, and Lima takes him.
Four dice of a C4 rolls 3.
4 dice.
Rolls 2 and has focus.
So trying to do some great math, and you're hearing Patrick walk through the decisions that would be going through his head, which is great. Always good when you take the time that you're allotted and try to reason through it and figure out, hey, am I actually going to be able to dodge this or am I not? And that's great. This is exactly what he wants to do. So the real question is, like, an Aaron trying to, be a little bit helpful and say, hey, do you want to shoot Bosk? I think he does. So he knows that there's a 1 health ship out there on the table, Bosk, and he's like, ooh, let me go for that. Because he does have Dead Man Switch. So the real question is, he going to say,
Well,
No, I've lost a 4-point ship.
well, for this round, you would have that would be 4 points for this round.
yeah, so he's thinking about whether he can take a ship off the board, because right now that 3-ship to 5-ship advantage in Aaron's favor is really not feeling good. So what he wants to try to do is try to kill Bosk. Okay, so he's going to shoot Seabor, because Seabor doesn't have any modifications. It's just going to be 4 dice versus 3. Okay, 3 hits. Seabor blanks out here. That's it. No, Seabor only takes 1.
someone's gonna game. It's gonna be.
Yeah, Lando doing his deal. Landoing. I mean, yeah. Quick side comment about Lando's ship ability in the new release is absolutely super legit. Lando's new ability lets him take do some really cool odds stuff where he can just say, "Oh, I can take double focuses and maybe release it." Oh, Bosk actually gets to shoot Wedge. We'll see. Odds are 1 hit because it's 2 dice. 1 hit. Odds are actually nothing, but gets it. So, okay. So next, we go to the next turn. So we have 1 point for Aaron, 2 points for Patrick, and we are on to turn 4. So we have 8 points for Aaron and 2 points for Patrick, and now also down to 3 ships, unfortunately. So, and Wedge, of course, is really hurting. Wedge has lost all of his. Wedge has lost 2 shields. So Wedge just got 1 shield left and 4 hull. So it's still in a little bit of a precarious spot, but we'll see how he actually does. Okay. So, real interesting thoughts here. That objective in the bottom left, or the bottom of the board, is absolutely Aaron's. Real question is, if he's able to capitalize and get another one, it would be clutch. So what I'm really curious at is what Seawar is going to do. Is Seawar going to try to do a 3-bank left, move over the asteroid because he doesn't have to be afraid of it? That would be super cool. Now, Bosk is unfortunately kind of a little bit out of position because everyone's turning around. Is Bosk going to do a K-turn? That'd be really cool. So maybe we have Seawar doing a 3-bank left. We have Bosk doing a K-turn to make sure that little gun stays in the game. Or we have Bosk on 1 point who's going to say, ooh, I'm just going to run away. Because he knows that the X-Wing and A-Wing are maybe not going after him. So maybe instead of a K-turn, he goes really hard left and says, I'll flip around later. And what I just basically want to do is I don't want to give away those free points. That would be really cool if he maybe does a 3 hard left or something like that. What's Han going to do? Han's now in a spot where the A-Wing's going to be moving first, getting out of his way. Han could maybe do a 1-bank left to try to stay obstructed so that as Wedge goes into the middle of the field, maybe Han will get an obstructed shot on him. Lima did take a lot of shield damage, so might have something to worry about. She might be a little bit afraid to take that HLC shot from Tycho, so if she keeps going straight, Tycho's going to be able to just run on into her and slam at her. So we will be a little bit afraid. We'll see how this goes. Okay, and then we got Lando, who's been doing some work with that double tap. Lando's in a great spot where now he's got a lot of Aaron's list kind of to the right of him, so he can just coast on. Lando maybe only does a 1 straight, just kind of stay in the fight. Lando hasn't lost a ton of shields, and we're already on turn 4, so I think Lando can say, hey, I'm basically going to live this game unless Aaron's entire list collapses on me. Which, could actually happen. Yeah, could happen. Because we've still got Dengar behind him who's just going to be, slamming into him. But yeah, we'll see. It's kind of interesting also that Aaron's been really experimenting with all these different scum variants, and so we haven't seen a ton of Dengar play out of it. Dengar at I-6 is, really tough, really scary. It's really interesting to see how he plays in this match, because right now his job is kind of, tying up Lando and putting that pressure on there. With him being all the way on the backside of the board, well, there's a chance, actually, no, I take it back. I think this might be the turn that we see Dengar start trying to pile those shots in on Wedge. Yeah, that's what I'm calling for. I'm seeing Dengar get into a spot where he can start piling it on Wedge. So super clutch game so far. We're going to really see how this goes. Yeah, it's awesome that I get a chance to actually narrate one of these. Normally, it's just leaving us the game audio. I mean, y'all in the chat, or anyone here, or who's going to watch this later on YouTube, let us know how this is going. Anything else you want to see? Any other comments? I did have one question about the most superior breakfast cereal. Right now, it's Kashi, the autumn wheat, a type of biscuit class cereal, which is, superb. Personally, find it better than frosted mini wheats, unless, of course, the frosted mini wheats are the strawberry variant, which are about as good as you can get for a cereal product that's mass produced, with the exception of the small, artisanal brands that create those, high quality but, low production count varietals. But that's a completely other conversation that I don't think we're going to get into right now. Okay, so we keep going on maneuvers, and we got Seaver going first. Yeah, he does not care because he can just rocket on the other side. So, oh no, he didn't do the bank. He did the hard. No, he ignores it while maneuvering. So he puts a strain out. So even though he landed on it, which is really interesting. So it's kind of a cool way of having a combination of saying, oh, hey, I don't. Yep, and he decides to barrel roll off the asteroid to make sure that he can shoot. And so brilliant use of the Marg Sable there. God, I love that Marg Sable. Introduced by the Timothy Zahn book. And we got to see it in Rebels in that really awesome animated series. So we have him doing work, lining up to put some pressure on the A-Wing. Bosk is Bosk going. Oh, yeah, so unfortunately Bosk going to the right. So Bosk unfortunately went right instead of left. Because remember, going left would have put him out of the arc, and so now he's got a 50% chance to see. So no penalty. And the interesting thing is, does he fit at all? Because you've got that, so we have Bosk trying to get out of the way. Again, I personally would have done Bosk really all the way out, like a 3 hard to left or something like that, just to get out of there, because I really don't want him to lose that. Yeah, no action because he bumped. No, he does have Dead Man Switch, which would be really tough, because if he blows up, he's going to hurt Seawar. Lima, interesting, coming in really fast. Now what is Lima going to do? Oh, I get it. Lima's trying to push the button. Okay. So, Lima takes a focus. Now remember, Lima's ability says that if no one's got her in arc, then she can take a automatic lock, which will set her up really nicely next turn for that plasma torpedo. So here we go. So we've got Orlando and the A-Wing and Wedge. Tiger just doing a 1 straight. Ooh, okay. Well, this is setting up a bit of a traffic jam. The real question is whether this jams up Han too much, because Han does not want to be continuing to do these range 0 shots. Han really wants to be able to use all those modifications. So, yep, takes the stress focus. So Han's really going to like that. Just the real question about, okay, yeah, and we're just slowly inching around. Oh, sorry, taking a quick break to have my Topo Chico. What do we got over here? So, Lando is probably going to... I can't take a flip anything. He's going to... So he's going to do his Lando coordinate. So Wedge was stressed, so unfortunately has to try to figure out another ship. But yeah, bit of a tough misplay. But Lando can still give himself the extra abilities if he wants to do like a focus target or something like that. He's got, let's see from where he is, he's got some double tap. Yeah, so he's got some double tap potential right now. Now wait, and the reason he's talking about Tiger. Lando gives a walk to Tycho.
Focus ad nauseum.
And Lando gets double focuses so that he can take the Biston double tap. And so what he's going to try to do is he's going to try to shoot Seavor and then shoot Bosk. So no, we have Dengar doing great. So yeah, Dengar very nicely misses that. Real question is, what is he going to do? Is he, yep, flips the button. Awesome. Puts a ton of pressure on Patrick anyways, because again, he's got more ships, and he's going to use the more ships advantage, plus the fact that Dengar is not taking any shots right now. So now Aaron gets to move Han. What is he going to do?
So if I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna pop into my seat when I don't get the benefit.
So what is he going to do? So I'm going to try to figure out what he's going to do. So he's not going to do contraband. So the final position, unfortunately, has him overlapping Lima. And we've got a little bit of a train here, trying to figure out where everyone goes. And he's doing a train track to try to make sure, because it's really, really important for these big base ships to make sure that those arcs are really pointed in the right spot, especially because, remember, Aaron has the habit of making sure that his Han is not pointed in normal orthogonal directions. And what that means is that you can't just count on, oh, it's orthogonal, it's 90 degrees, it's going to fit, it's not. No, like, it is, you can't really count on that. So that's why it's really important right now that they make sure he's really there. So he unfortunately hit himself. So Han does not have modifications on his dice, but he is able to. But he is able to still take shots. So he.
So glad that the other two had it, that it wasn't some like special thing.
So Wedge. Now, so Wedge has a barrel into focus. Now he's still got a couple shots coming through. He's got Dengar pointed right at him, and he's got Han. So we're gonna see, and this is Aaron's initiative. So Dengar, I'm pretty positive, is gonna be shooting. Oh, the question is, what are you gonna do? What is he going to do? I think Wedge is the good target. I think Wedge is the shot right here, because I think Wedge is already the one who's less interesting, because I think Wedge is really the piece that you need to do. Oh, okay, interesting. But hey, we're experimenting right now. Yeah, personally, I would have gone for Wedge, but we'll see how it goes. Oh, okay, so hit. Yeah, and so we have Lando. And is Lando gonna just absorb the two shields, or is he actually gonna spend that focus? So Lando loses both shields. So here we have a thinking out, because there's one thing to be said about using your shields and health as a resource. Okay, so he's basically saying if Dengar is probably not gonna. Okay, so hit crit. And so basically going to do 1 crit.
Okay, so he didn't end up taking a crit on the hall.
So
He has more shots.
so we have the other shot coming in.
2 with a focus. Dengar has actually taken some damage. Alright.
So we have 3 hits coming into Dengar.
Gains focus too.
Dengar down to 4. So he just shot Dengar?
Wedge
Oh.
shot Dengar.
Okay.
I'm wondering if I keep filing into. You can choose just to not shoot. But if I do, then it's.
Yeah, so his debate. So I don't know if you can hear what he's doing, but he's trying to figure out whether he's going to kill Orlando or not. And he's worrying about whether Orlando's going to be shooting him. If it was me, again, I really would shoot Wedge to try to clear Wedge off the table because he doesn't know how much time he has left.
I can make it reroll. Pretty good.
So rolls.
Wedge from Dengar is the
So hit crit into Wedge.
I'll spin this to make you reroll this.
Okay. All right. So Wedge loses his last shield.
Alright. My 5 actually.
So Lima gets to shoot next. Lima gets to range 0. And we have the dorsal cannon shot. So he spins for the dorsal. And Lando takes 1. So Lando takes 1 down to 7. So we have Dengar at 4, Lando at 7. And now we have all the 5s. So we've got Lando's double tap and we've got Tycho. And we're going to check to see if Tycho's got the HLC shot to see if he can put down Seavor.
Are you trying to do boss or
boss, because that's and he'll kill Seaborn.
Seabor's got
Oh, he's got 2 more.
Yeah, so we have a question about like who's he gonna shoot. So he's gonna shoot Bosk. So here he goes. So unfortunately, spends that lock on 1, so he should get at least 1 more hit, maybe 2. Yep, so gets 3. So Bosk is definitely taking 1 more, and yep. So Wedge takes a card, Seavor takes a card. Real question for Orlando. Yep, so I think Orlando is just going to see whether he...
well, I would love yeah.
Nope. Okay, sorry, we're just seeing a really interesting rules interaction. I'm going to bring up Seavor really quick. When you defend a permanent attack before attack dice are rolled, if you are not in his bullseye, you can spend a charge a unit gains a jam token. So before attacks are rolled, he can basically jam that off. And Aaron did not have to remind him of that, which could absolutely So if he spends this, so he could kill Dengar here, and he okay does it. So gets 3, and that's time of the game. Sorry.
Well, I mean, I lost one piece. Can't complain. Buffalo again, sir.
So Aaron gets 2 at the end. Patrick gets 1.
Although I guess I traded Corn for the murder of Corn's father. Hal Horn, boss killed him.
Corn.
It's interesting because he never actually gets around to taking revenge on boss. But
Yeah, but it's not the Jedi way.
Well, it's the he wasn't a Jedi. The reason he
Oh, nice.
well, because he's like a good cop.
Like grandfather, like son. Oh yeah, Corsac. Yeah,
All the right way.
and then
Kirtan Lore released boss just to spite him.
yep.
Like literally, it was just because I do not like that guy. I'm gonna release his father's murderer.
Yeah.
So then the grudge.
Kieran War, everyone who's listening to this, Kieran War was actually a bad guy, just to let everyone know. But wow, okay, so we have a really bloody game. We have a lot of damage just being like torn into people. Dengar didn't do a super ton. Wedge, or just what on earth? Or Tanky.
Mark is asking if you're flying custom Lando.
Yes.
Wow, what an interesting one.
Yeah, I don't know. I think.
So thank you, everyone. This was a really fun one to cast. Seeing the new Wedge was super interesting. Those shields were really, really impressive. They made him look way more like a T-70, so it definitely helped him. Tycho, of course, with that 3 agility, not drawing fire. Lando, again, like for a game like this with only a few rounds. Oh man, yeah, this is gonna be interesting. I really do think Rebels have legs left. I really do think that there's some potential there. So this was sweet. Thank you everyone so much for like watching this. This was really cool getting a chance for me to actually cast one of these for you guys. So that new Wedge definitely has legs for 5 points. Looking at the scum variants being thrown by Aaron over here, it's going to have a lot of really fun stuff for us to mull over, figure out what is actually the best squad. But for now, we're going to go ahead and call it right here. We're going to wrap this up. We're going to post this video on YouTube. And yeah, people have more comments, have more questions. Please feel free to sign in during these Twitch streams, like post questions to us and things like that. And super excited to continue to give you these kinds of games. So thanks everyone. 512 Squadron out.